It's time to check your money with America's Money Maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial member SIPC. And joining us now is the friendly neighborhood advisor, Mike Jennings. Mike, how you doing today?
Oh my God. If I look like I've aged tremendously in the last few weeks since you saw me, if I look like I haven't got much sleep, it's probably true.
Has your phone been ringing off the hook?
Surprisingly, our clients are good. We've made sure to culture, the idea that, if we're not the ones calling you, you should be okay. We're keeping an eye on everything. And our clients, they're good with that. So they haven't been, when we get into the meeting, they might say, all right, now what's going on? We might need to start meeting a little bit more often, or you might have to start giving me some phone calls and keep me updated. But yes, these are I don't even unprecedented almost seems like an understatement for what's going on with this. But I'm back. We're here, and there's still some people out there that need a little bit of advice and some tips.
And we're talking about the market volatility, obviously, when we say what's going on. So just want to contextualize that
Oh
uh,
yes, of
for
course.
everyone. Yeah, the market's a little volatile these
Well,
last few weeks.
very, very volatile. And we're not going to get into the politics of everything, but obviously this is a very important topic, a very important time to pay attention to these things. It's not many times in history where one person or a single group of individuals can have this much sway and this much influence over worldwide economics. So yes, and to go along with that, one of the things I wanted to talk about today is a very real possibility, something that has ramped up in the last couple months, and that is the possibility of a recession. Back in 2008, I was, what was that, 13, 14. I didn't really have an idea of what a recession was. I didn't know what the implications of all that was. And, I was just a kid, and, my mom was great. And I didn't personally feel any different. I knew a recession was going on, but, it didn't really translate into my young life. But this time, this possibility of this recession can have very long-standing effects to the point where, we're not just looking at what do we need to do to get past this particular moment, but what do we need to do to mitigate some of these effects in the long term? Because these are very, very integrated, very deep penetrating issues and uh, uh, implications that are being laid forth in front of us. So we're going to talk about what are some general good tips, some good things that you can do to prepare for a possible recession. Are you ready, George?
I'm ready.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to start off on is something that I have talked about incessantly on this show, but I'm going to talk about it again, and that is we have to start budgeting
I was
wisely.
waiting for you to say that.
If there was one time that you listened to me on this show, please let it be right now. Please look at everything that you're doing, everything that you're spending. We live in a world of things, material things and experiences, and there's a lot of ways we can have fun, but we have to make sure that we can sustain the essential parts of our lifestyle so that we can actually enjoy that fun, right? So
Mhm.
budget wisely. I know groceries has been a big topic. Start using wholesale stores like Costco, BJ's, Sam's Club. I know we don't have that here anymore, but
Let's take
somebody
a
out there
drive up
listening,
to Watertown if you need to do that.
yeah, if you make it up that far, go to Sam's Club. But honestly, the bulk items, household things, groceries, a lot of the expensive things you can get them bulk there. Use your freezer. Use your freezer. This is one of the bigger ticket items when it comes to expenses and there's groceries. And as I said before, it's gotten a lot more expensive recently. And this is just one simple way that membership fee will pay for itself after a couple trips. I promise you. Cut down on entertainment subscriptions. That's another thing we talked about. All
You,
the
yeah, you've been, yeah.
the the the,
And
the
do you know
net.
what you're subscribing to, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yes. We're not gonna get into that. But yes. I mean, listen, I maybe I'm different, but I can maybe one or two shows I can pay attention to at one time. As from like, watching it here and there. Maybe one or two shows. So try to find just one and keep it in rotation. Have Netflix one month, then have Hulu, then have Peacock, whatever you need. So you can hit all the things you need to, but you're not just doing everything at once. We're past that point
Or,
where we can just keep
or,
spending
or
upwards of $100. We're right back to cable prices if you haven't noticed.
yeah, or have a big family and everybody has one.
Right. Until Netflix try to shut you down again.
Right, right, right.
Last point on budgeting wisely, build an emergency savings and keep a sensible amount of
Mhm.
money in both your checking account, savings account, and maybe even a little bit in cash. That's not really something that we say a lot often these times is keep a little bit in cash, but in these times you never know what's going on. I'm not saying take all of your money, put it on your mattress. Just get a sensible amount, what makes sense for you to
What,
keep in cash, keep it at home.
and you know what's interesting, Michael, that you say that, but then you have so many places, not so many places, but I run into, I don't take cash or I don't take, right? You know,
Right.
you gotta, it's kind of a balance, right? Because
Hmm.
there are places like if you go for the entertainment venues, many of them are now cashless. You know, if
Yeah.
you go to like an arena or if you go to the fair, even everything
Hmm.
for some of the things, like
Yeah.
getting into certain things,
You
right?
see how you named a bunch of stuff you should probably rethink before
Right, right, right.
before going to.
Some of the things I remember I was a few years ago I was at we were looking at doing college visits. We went
Hmm.
into one of the stores and was like, we do not take cash. Like what?
Yeah.
And some people don't do that because of COVID, right? So like
Right.
if you go into some of these events. So it's just really interesting.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah. I've even seen some venues have a reverse ATM. You've seen that?
no.
Yeah, it's a machine. You put the cash in and it gives you a dispensable, like a Visa card.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I did not know
yeah.
that. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Mhm.
But like you were saying, or like I was saying, it's the idea of it is like just being versatile. I
Mhm.
know a lot of us moved away from cash. It's just we got the cards, we got the Apple Pay, Google Play, whatever the case may be. Just be as flexible as you can with your assets. Next point, reduce debt. On the individual side, just speaking person to person, use this time to evaluate which debts that you have that you can spend down lower as lower inflation. That's the environment that we would be in, hopefully with a recession. You don't want to see something as something like stagflation. Usually when you see a recession, you see lower inflation. Or I'm sorry, you see lower inflation, lower rates, so you can start paying down some of these debts. Business owners having too much debt in a recession can be a business killer. So please, especially if your revenue relies on spending that will slow down, like some of these entertainment things, some of these things that people have used their discretionary money on, be wary of that, right? Also be wary of the easygoing investment advice. I know a lot of people are on, different social media things and they're hearing this, they're hearing that, buy the dip, all that stuff. Listen, talk to a professional, talk to a professional financial advisor, wealth consultant. Um, and it's a big
Somebody
if you
like you?
can, uh,
Maybe.
if maybe. If you can afford to, put some discretionary funds into more investments, then do so and do so, with that in mind. But also be sure to reevaluate your investment plan with your advisor. Where if we move into a recession, that'll be in a different environment than what we're usually seeing. So definitely, before you do make any major changes to start investing more, just go to your investment advisor and say, hey, let's relook at our plan, look at some of our strategies to make sure that we're still good. Next point, evaluate your income streams. How secure is your job? Are recession layoffs a possibility with your employer? Like I just mentioned, does your job rely on people that using discretionary funds to come see you, right? Um, are there any side gigs you can pick up? Any hobbies that can generate income? I know quite a number of you out there are entrepreneurs, and you're putting some of your skills to work outside of your usual job. That's great. That's the kind of ingenuity you have to have in this climate. More money, well, they say more money, more problems, but something like this, you
Right.
probably want to have a little bit more money. Um, and last thing I'll hit on is start and create your financial plan. Now is the time more than ever. I say it every day. Obviously, I'm a financial planner. I say, hey, maybe you should look at your financial plan. Now, once again, if there's any time that you're going to listen to me on this show, now is the time more than ever to actually get that plan together. Your financial advisor, they're going to have a lot of information that they can relate to you, a lot of relevant things that they can put into context for you in these the possibility of these troubling times. So with that being said, please reach out to your friendly neighborhood advisor at 315-748-5540 or send me an email at michael.jennings@brackensfsn.com.
All right, Michael Jennings. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. But we've been listening to your friendly neighborhood advisor, Mike Jennings. Thank you,
Right.
Mike.